seats. We'll begin momentarily.
Oh, she does.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Department of English and Philosophy's Award and Recognition Ceremony for the year 2022. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Sheeman. I'm an Academy Professor in the department, and I'll be hosting this year's awards. Let me begin by introducing Colonel Dave Harper, Professor and Head of the Department of English and Philosophy.
Thanks, Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is a pleasure to be joined once again, for the first time in 3 years, by family and cadets here in the beautiful Hague Room of the West Point Library. We are also joined online by family and friends of our cadets, so welcome to those of you tuning in as well. Whichever way you join us today, we're very pleased you could make it to this event that recognizes the achievements of so many talented cadets, men and women who have impressed all in the Department of English and Philosophy over their time with us. So welcome to all the parents, grandparents, siblings, significant others, aunts, uncles, nieces, and others who join us today. Cadets, please join me in giving a round of applause to those who have supported you, for those who have helped you to get where you are today. And of course, welcome to the remarkable class of 2022. This class, like the one before it and like the one after it, will likely be remembered as one of the most adaptable classes to graduate West Point. They entered West Point at a time when we were still deeply engaged in the war in Afghanistan. They leave while conventional warfare once again is being waged in Europe. They were in their yuck year when the pandemic hit. They didn't make it back from spring break. It wasn't as fun as it sounds, actually. And they have adapted through online and remote learning to taking classes while wearing masks, to the more flexible policy that allows us to join here today. And they have led the Corps of Cadets through one of the most unusual periods in the history of the Corps. These cadets, who will take their first salutes in a few short days, will lead an army that needs their adaptability, their creativity, and the habits of critical thinking that our disciplines, English and philosophy, have instilled in them. They embody intellectual rigor and a mental capaciousness that emboldens them to explore any idea, to respect diverse viewpoints, and to become warrior scholars. We cannot afford leaders with brittle, fragile intellects who shy away from opinions that differ from their own. I believe this class has proven to us all that they are not just physically ready, they are not just militarily ready, but they are intellectually and mentally ready to fearlessly examine the difficult questions and lead through the challenging times ahead of us. Having taught many of them, I am confident in this class. Their education at West Point and in this department prepares them especially well for these turbulent times. They know how to evaluate sources and make difficult judgments. They are comfortable with ambiguity. They understand the importance of listening to those they lead. To you, the graduates of 2022, I have a charge for you. I charge you to model the values of the Constitution you will take an oath to on Saturday, to honor the spirit of it, which has always been to expand the promise of it, to expand the reach of its protection and embrace. You can do this best by remembering that your job is always going to be to lead and care for people. Your choice to major in English or philosophy demonstrated early in your careers that you understand that the Army does not lead abstract concepts such as change or transformation. We don't lead automation or technology. We lead people. I believe you are ready for the challenge and ready to take your place in the course of history during turbulent and trying times. And I'm confident in this because I know who these graduates are. I know what they've accomplished at West Point. Here in the room, we have a winner of a prestigious Rotary Scholarship going off to study more at the University of Amsterdam. Some were athletes on the track team, the football and sprint football teams, women's basketball, women's track, the boxing club, the fencing club, various Sandhurst teams. They were leaders in the Corps. We have with us today battalion commanders and a battalion command sergeant major, company commanders, company trust, honor, and respect representatives, platoon leaders, and many more. In their spare time, their copious spare time, they were in the Corbin Forum, Creative Writing, Spectrum Club, Theater Arts Guild, Philosophy Forum, Cultural Affairs Forum, Spirit Band, and the various clubs of the Cadet Humanities and Arts Forums, such as Studio Arts, opera, jazz. Among their number, we find a cadet who expanded their horizons by studying abroad in Latvia. They presented scholarly papers at conferences alongside renowned scholars. As officers, our majors will go on to a variety of branches to include armor, aviation, engineers, infantry, military intelligence, signal, field artillery. To the families, friends, and others joining us here and online, we are honored that your sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, grandchildren, significant others decided to share their talents with us. And we are humbled to have played a role in their development as citizens, as soldiers, and as, very soon, West Point graduates. We're going to present some awards today, but the following awards will be presented to cadets at a separate ceremony, but we'd like to recognize their accomplishments here as well. Cadet Marshall Beatty is the recipient of the National Society Colonial Daughters of the 17th Century Award. This award recognizes the highest overall achievement in philosophy and English among the graduating class. Marshall will receive this award at the graduation awards convocation. Cadet Brooke Allen is the recipient of the Thompson Family Memorial Award, which is presented to the cadet in the graduating class most distinguished in writing across the curriculum. Cadet Allen will receive her award at the graduation awards convocation. And with that, we turn our attention to today's honorees.
Thank you, Colonel Harper. As your program indicates, we'll begin our recognition ceremony with the presentation of the Major General Charles G. Stevenson Award, which is given to the cadet who distinguishes him or herself as the most outstanding cadet in charge across the Cadet Humanities Forums. The Department of English and Philosophy sponsors 11 forums, each of which is led by a cadet and advised by a member of the faculty. These forums allow cadets a creative outlet to explore their artistic and philosophical inclinations. They are dedicated to the following areas: Black culture and arts, creative writing, art appreciation, the studio arts, film, jazz, Hudson Valley culture, Latin X arts, opera, philosophy and ethics debate. This award, which recognizes the cadet who displays superior leadership through these Cadet Humanities Forums, was established in 1972 in memory of its namesake. Major General Stevenson graduated from West Point in 1924. While a cadet, he played hockey and baseball for all 4 years and was best known for delivering the game-winning hit against Navy in 1921. Beat Navy. His military service began with the 16th Infantry at Fort Jay, New York. In the evenings, General Stevenson attended Brooklyn Law School. He received his law degree in 1928. 18 years later, he was appointed Judge Advocate General for the New York National Guard. In 1959, he was appointed Adjutant General of New York and Vice Chief of Staff to Governor Nelson A. Rockefeller. After 36 years of service to his state and country, he retired in 1962. His service shifted to his beloved West Point in his retirement. He and his wife, Mare, worked to refurbish Kosciuszko's garden and raise money for its perpetual maintenance. This year, the Major General Charles G. Stevenson Award is presented to Cadet Annalise Callahan, the cadet in charge of the ethics debate team. Annalise is unable to join us here today because she's been selected for senior leadership duties in cadet summer training. Accepting the award on her behalf will be her assistant CIC, Cadet Charles Batkin. Charles, if you come to the front and join Colonel Harper to receive the award on Annalise's behalf. Congratulations, Annalise. Next, we'll present the Stillwell Award. The Joseph Stillwell Award for the Professional Military Ethic is awarded to the cadet in our core course at PY 201, which covers Introduction to Philosophy and Ethical Reasoning, who in writing, discussion, and classroom demeanor best exemplifies the hallmark values of General Vinegar Joe Stillwell: intellectual honesty, keen moral insight, and commitment to the professional military ethic. This year's award winner is Cadet Gwendolyn Vestal. Cadet Vestal's final course essay for PY 201 explores the moral implications of affirmative action in American higher education. The essay argues that educational opportunities are the best way of ensuring equality of economic opportunity and advocates for strong affirmative action in college admissions. Cadet Vestal's argument offers empirical grounds for the view that high school outcomes are strongly affected by historical and socioeconomic inequalities, and that access to higher educational opportunities is the best means available to us in resolving those inequalities. The essay grapples with a difficult moral question and does so in a logically rigorous manner. It's a fitting demonstration of the importance of philosophy in the use of a curriculum and a proud reflection on the legacy of Vinegar Joe Stillwell. Gwendolyn, please join Colonel Harper at the front of the room to receive your award. Congratulations, Gwendolyn. Next, we'll recognize this year's winner of the Richard A. Whitfield Award for Debate Excellence. The Whitfield Award is presented annually for exceptional performance in debate and is a leader of the United States Military Academy's Speech and Parliamentary Debate Forum. The award is awarded to the cadet judge to best exemplify the dedication to meaningful intellectual discourse, competitive drive, and service to the Academy and nation, embodied by the award's founder, Richard A. Whitfield. This year's Whitfield Award winner is Cadet Gavin Shapiro. Gavin has been an active member of speech and parliamentary debate throughout his 4 years at West Point. Even as a plebe, Cadet Shapiro stood out for his sharp wit and uncanny ability to think on his feet. Since then, he has become a valuable member of the team in other regards, both excelling in competitions and also coaching and mentoring new team members. Gavin's leadership proved especially important in helping the team transition back to in-person competition after nearly 2 years of competing virtually. He is a fitting recipient of the Richard A. Whitfield Award, not only for his demonstrated abilities as a college-level debater, but for his service and leadership in advancing parliamentary debate at West Point. Gavin, please join Colonel Harper at the front of the room to receive your award. Congratulations again. At this time, we'd like to recognize our graduating majors. Graduates, when you hear your name called, please join Colonel Harper at the front of the room to receive a certificate, recognizing your success. Please allow us to take a quick photo before you head back to your seats. This year's graduating English majors are first Cade Barnard. Cade was unable to join us today. Next, Mallory Eichen. Sarah Furch. Caleb Gordon, graduating with honors. Allison Ingraham. Gregory Layer. Philip Miranda. Shayla Thornton. Miles Walker. Darian York. This year's graduating philosophy majors are Marshall Beatty. Kaylin Bird. Kaylin was unable to be here with us today. Sydney Gadsden. Sydney also unable to attend today. Bobby Howell. Bobby is also graduating with honors. Michael Matthews. Brianna White. Several of our majors have also engaged in a year-long thesis project. The thesis project serves an important opportunity for our majors, allowing them to indulge in intellectual passion, to explore a topic of their choosing in greater depth, to learn how to pursue a course of independent research, to contribute to the critical discourse within their chosen discipline, to refine their research and writing skills across 2 academic semesters under the guidance of a faculty member, and ultimately to enrich their understanding of either literature or philosophy. Thus, the thesis is a largely independent project requiring significant reading, reflection, research, and writing, which essentially composes an additional course during each term of the first class year. The final project The final product of this project is a well-revised 30 to 40-page critical essay that demonstrates a thorough exploration of a singular idea or concept. After submitting their written essays, they are expected to defend their thesis in an hour-long oral examination conducted by senior faculty members. This year, 3 cadets took on the thesis project, with all of them achieving the designation with honors. In order to graduate with honors, a graduate must earn a grade point average of at least 3.5 in all courses in English and philosophy major, a cumulative grade point average of at least a 3.0, and must earn a grade of no less than an A- for the written thesis and the oral defense. We would like to recognize the following cadets for successfully defending their thesis project. Gentlemen, when you hear your name, please stand and remain standing until all thesis writers have been acknowledged. Please hold all your applause until we've recognized all 3 cadets. First, Cadet Caleb Gordon, who wrote and defended a thesis entitled "The Camera in the Bedroom: Voyeuristic Discomfort in Post-9/11 Muslim American Literature." Cadet Marshall Beatty, who wrote and defended a thesis entitled "Personal Identity and the Afterlife." And Cadet Bobby Howe, who wrote and defended a thesis entitled "The Implications and Response to a Moral Will." Congratulations, gentlemen. Our next 2 awards are presented to the cadets who distinguished themselves by outstanding performance in the English and philosophy majors, respectively. Cadets, when you hear your name called, please join Colonel Harper at the front of the room to receive a certificate recognizing your success. Again, please allow us to take a quick photo before you return to your seats. For outstanding achievement in the English major, the Department of English and Philosophy would like to recognize Cadet Caleb Gordon. For outstanding achievement in the philosophy major, the Department of English and Philosophy would like to recognize Cadet Bobby Howe. Congratulations, gentlemen. At this time, Colonel Harper will preside over the presentation of the Addis Award for the best senior thesis.
Thanks, Kevin. The Brigadier General Carroll E. Adams Award is awarded annually to the cadet who writes the best senior thesis, as judged by a multidisciplinary panel of senior faculty members. Joining us today to present the award on behalf of the Adams family is Mr. Adam Israel. Mr. Israel is joined here by his wife, Kezia, and their 2 children, Kai and Hannah. Mr. Israel will describe the proud legacy of his grandfather, Brigadier General Carroll E. Adams, and the Adams Award. Mr. Israel.
First, I want to say what an honor it is to be here with such fine young men and women. In a world that seems somewhat void of leadership right now and a lot of turmoil, that you guys are the hope, the future. So anyway, God bless you on your quest to serve our country. So thank you guys. I'm Brigadier General Colonel E. Adams' grandson. His daughter was my mother. He attended West Point. His 3 sons did as well. My 3 uncles. And so I'd like to take this time just to talk a little bit about him. So it gives me great pleasure to present this year's Addis Award to Cadet Marshall Beatty. Our family has long been associated with West Point. My grandfather, again, who passed away, was attended here. Graduated in 1945. My 3 uncles graduated in 1968, 1974, and 1981. Our family established this award many years ago and presents it annually to the top thesis writer in the Department of English and Philosophy in memory of my grandfather. My grandfather had a deep love of classic English literature, and as a teenage boy, he inscribed the poems Invictus by William Henley and Crossing the Bar by Alfred Tyson on the door jamb of his bedroom. My grandfather entered Brown University in 1940, intending to major in English literature. When World War II broke out, during his sophomore year, my grandfather took the entrance exam to West Point. When he was admitted, he left Brown and entered West Point in the summer of 1942, graduating he and my grandmother were stationed in Hawaii at the end of World War II, or at the end of the war, where my mother was actually born in Hawaii. He went on to serve in various engineering assignments in Europe and North America, including the Army of Occupation in Austria, in California building ICBM silos throughout the western U.S., constructing defense early warning lines, radars in the Canadian Arctic, and serving as a district engineer in Norfolk District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, 1967 to 1970. My grandfather's nickname was Hat, given to him as a young boy because he was always happy. Photos of my grandfather from the service of Vietnam show him with a big smile as he's surrounded by his troops. He loved being with soldiers and empathized servant leadership. My grandfather believed in the concept of leaders eat last, or lead from the front. He was a kind and good to the people he served under him, and he engendered lasting loyalty and affection. After his death, the Norfolk District Corps of Engineers named the largest survey vessel the Adams in his honor. When that vessel was retired years later, the district named the successor the Adams too. At both dedication ceremonies, people who had served under my grandfather spoke fondly of him and their memories of him. My Uncle Bill told me while the family lived in Germany in the mid-60s, my grandfather read in the Stars and Stripes of the combat death of a classmate in a strange place called Vietnam. My uncle saw how this deeply affected his father and asked why they were having a war there. My grandfather replied that there were bad people who wanted to control other people. It was 7 years later, as the Vietnam War dragged on, that my grandfather, who was eligible for retirement after more than 24 years of service, declined. And he declined an offer to be the Assistant Postmaster General for the construction and instead volunteered to serve in Vietnam, where he deployed in January 1970. When he arrived in Vietnam, my grandfather took command of the 937th Engineer Groups, a Corps-level organization of 5 engineer battalions and over 5,000 soldiers. His oldest son, my Uncle Rob, class of 68, was also serving in Vietnam in the 25th Infantry Division. My Uncle Rob was severely burned when he pulled the pilot and co-pilot out of the burning wreckage of a Cobra gunship in early May of 1970 during the invasion of Cambodia. My grandfather visited Rob in the hospital shortly afterward and reported home to his worried wife that their son would survive and be all right. Shortly after that, while accompanying the general on an inspection tour of his far-flung battalions, which were supporting the invasion into Cambodia, their helicopter was shot down by enemy gunfire. All aboard were lost with the exception of one command sergeant, Major Robert Alke, who jumped from the stricken aircraft, fell more than 50 feet to the ground. Sergeant Major Alke remained close to our family for the rest of his life, and a sign of the respect and admiration he had for my grandfather. My grandfather had previously been selected for promotion to Brigadier General and was promoted posthumously. I'm not saying that right, but you know what I mean. His name is memorized on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., panel 10W, line 21, one of 58,318 names, each with their own story. His name is also memorialized in the South Stairwell of Cullum Hall. Our family is proud to present this award every year so that my grandfather's story can live on. Although he studied engineering at West Point, there was no other choice at the time. My grandfather's foundation in liberal arts was a constant in his life. He even made a pilgrimage to Stratford-upon-Avon, England, to visit Shakespeare's birthplace, where he purchased the complete works of Shakespeare. I never knew my grandfather, but I am proud to be honoring his legacy today by presenting this award for recognizing the highest scholarly achievement in the humanitarians at his alma mater. Cadet Beatty, our family applauds you for your scholarly achievement. I am certain that my grandfather will be proud that this award in his honor is presented for you. Your solid foundation in liberal arts and your ability to think critically and write effectively will serve you well in your service to the Army and the lifetime of service to our nation. So thank you, Cadet Beatty. Finally, one last thing I want to do for all the cadets or faculty here, I want to just call up my 2 kids. So if you're on the admissions selection committee, this is Kai and Hannah. They just have one quick thing they want to say, right, guys? All right.
Go Army.
in the front of the room to receive this year's Addis Award. Marshall's thesis, titled Personal Identity in the Afterlife, considers various conceptions of personal identity, concluding that we have the better reason to believe that our personal identity does not continue after death. He argues that this view of personal identity is well supported by contemporary findings in psychology and neuroscience and has myriad implications for the rationality and practicality of belief in an afterlife. The project is impressive in both scope and ambition and reflects great credit upon the Department of English and Philosophy and honors the legacy of Brigadier General Adams. Congratulations to you, Marshall, and thank you, Mr. Adams, Mr. Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have one more round of applause for all of our honored graduates? This concludes our ceremony. We'd be honored if you would join the faculty and our honored graduates in the lobby outside of the Hague Room for refreshments. We have some modest refreshments for you. You'll have a chance to pause and appreciate today's milestones, and of course to congratulate our recent recipients of awards. Should you find the opportunity, please also thank Major Hunter Cantrell and Major Rob Whiteley for their efforts in coordinating this ceremony. Thank you, gentlemen. Your work was outstanding. And thank you to everyone here in attendance today. It's through you guys that we're able to celebrate our graduates, and we appreciate all of your support and, of course, your attendance here today. Thank you.